Hello and welcome to this video on faith, God and the coronavirus. I hope you're all staying safe. Do not be afraid or fear not. These are two of the most common biblical phrases. In the Old Testament, they're often on the lips of prophets as a message from God. In the Gospels, they're frequently on the lips of Jesus. Do not be afraid or fear not. But how do they fit with the circumstances that we now find ourselves in? These are circumstances that seem to have landed on us from a horror film and for which we were not prepared. And surely, in one sense, fear is an appropriate reaction. It's probably helping many people to obey the rules on physical social distancing and self-isolation. Yet still, I believe Jesus is saying to us, do not be afraid, because fear can take root in our souls, in our spirits, and have a really harmful effect. It's fear that has led some people to bulk buying and hoarding of toilet rolls and other such things. It's fear that has led to the eviction of some NHS workers from their rented flats. And let's remember that Jesus said these words, do not be afraid, in settings where fear would be a normal human reaction. In the middle of a storm on the lake, as advice for his followers when persecuted for their faith, and after the resurrection, when the early Christians were facing a world that they'd never known. Do not be afraid. How can we live by these words? We read in 1 John 4, verse 18, that perfect love casts out fear. And as we live through these extraordinary times, Jesus, the Good Shepherd, wants to surround us by his love and fill us with his love, and he wants that love to flow out to others. He is with us always, and his love is stronger even than death. Fear can paralyze, but love motivates to make the effort to keep in touch with others, motivates to offer practical help where that's possible, motivates also to bring joy and hope amidst the immense difficulties, motivates us to pray for others and draw close to God, asking strength for ourselves. We've all recognised that we're learning to live in different ways. Perhaps some of those ways will continue to be positive once restrictions are lifted and COVID-19 is no longer such a threat. Other ways we may all be glad to get rid of. But learning to live, not just exist, in a different way takes love and courage rather than fear. I've often found this poem by Carol Beerlock helpful, and so I offer it to you for meditation in these strange times. As you hear it, you could view the sea in the poem as the coronavirus itself, or as the restrictions in place due to coronavirus. And in your first listen through, remember how it was when the disease was not present in this country, and then perhaps have another listen with the sea as God's love and Jesus' presence with you through the Holy Spirit. Here's the poem. I built my house by the sea. Not on the sands, mind you, not on the shifting sand. And I built it of rock, a strong house by a strong sea. And we got well acquainted, the sea and I, good neighbours. Not that we spoke much, we met in silences, respectful, keeping our distance, but looking our thoughts across a fence of sand, always the fence of sand our barrier, always the sand in between. And then, one day, and I still don't know how it happened, the sea came, without warning, without welcome even. Not a sudden and swift, but a shifting across the sand like wine, less like the flow of water than the flow of blood. Slow, but flowing like an open wound. And I thought of flight, and I thought of drowning, and I thought of death. And while I thought, the sea crept higher till it reached my door. I knew then there was neither flight nor death nor drowning. That when the sea comes calling, you stop being good neighbours, well acquainted, friendly from a distance neighbours, and you give your house for a coral castle, and you learn to breathe under water. So may we all, in this sense, learn to breathe deeply in these days, with God's love overcoming our fear. With love and prayers to you all. And the text of this will be in the magazine and published on the church website. Thank you.